Hello, let's start with a twist, taking your left hand behind, looking over your left shoulder. Maybe letting your eyes close, feeling the twist from the inside out. And then changing to the other side, looking over your right shoulder, maybe letting the shoulders relax a little more, face relaxed, a bit of space between the upper and lower teeth. And then into a side stretch, left hand to the ground, a bit of bend in the elbow, taking the shoulder away from your ear and reaching over with the right arm. You might be able to go a little bit deeper after a couple of breaths. If there's tension in the jaw, stretch the mouth out wide. And then let's swap to the other side. So keeping the pelvis level, hips heavy, just moving from the waist upwards. And let's go again to each side. So setting yourself up, and you might be able to come down onto the forearm. If not, don't worry, you can just keep the hand on the ground instead. And we've got the other arm bending at the elbow. An even deeper stretch, taking the elbow away from your hip. Let's swap over to the other side, so either on the forearm or onto the hand, letting the top elbow bend, forearm touching the top of the head, and pushing the elbow away from the hip. That's what will increase the stretch through the side. Face is still relaxed. And then we're going to come again into a little twist to each side, just to help the back relax after the side stretch. Changing sides, look the other way. And then changing the legs so that the soles of the feet together, knees out wide in a diamond shape. And we're going to come forwards. So walking the fingertips out in front of the legs, doesn't have to be far, and letting the head be heavy. And then coming back. Let's come onto all fours, so wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and starting with a cat pose, so rounding the back and then going the other way, breathing out to round the back and breathing in to lift the head. Really enjoying that stretch as you round your back. And then sitting back into another movement, a bigger movement, rounding the back. We're sitting onto the feet and then scooping forwards, a bit of bend in the elbows. Moving the spine, pelvis tilting backwards and forwards. So you could breathe out as you round the back and sit back, and then breathe in as you come forwards and where you began. Working with the breath. And then let's come into a different position, a twist. So you might need to take the knees a little bit wider. Reach a bit higher and then come down, ready to swap. Other arm coming up, pausing for a moment, try reaching a little higher and then coming down. Now let's take your left leg out to the side, level with the hip, and then bring the left arm up into that twist again, but this time threading through between the right arm and right leg. Breathing in to lift up and then breathing out to thread through. And you're reaching as far through as you can, so you get a stretch on the inner thigh. You want to keep that left leg straight. Let's change sides. Oh, before we change sides, we're going to come into thread the needle pose. So trying to drop the forearm or the shoulder down to the floor and reaching as far through as you can again into a twist. And now let's take the other leg out. Bring the right arm up and then threading through between the left arm and left leg. Breathing in to open. Breathing out to twist the other way, reaching as far through as you can, keeping the hips and the legs relaxed. Okay, let's bring the leg in, drop down onto either the forearm, so you can lean on the elbow if you can't come down to the shoulder, side of the head resting down, or you can hover the head above the ground, and then coming out. Up onto the knees, a high kneeling position, and imagine you've got a beach ball. So we're going to come into a side stretch and then take the beach ball forwards and over to the other side. So you'll need to sit back slightly as you round the back to come forwards. So keep taking that beach ball from side to side, rounding the back and then into a side stretch, getting all the back muscles moving. And then you can go all the way around. So the key is to really lift up out of the hips as you take the arms overhead. So we're coming up into extension as we breathe in, and then go the other way, folding forwards, flexing through the spine. Make as big a circle as you can. Your back will feel so good after this. And relax the arms down. Let's take the left leg out to the side. Again, it's to the left of the hip and into a side stretch. So we're just lightly resting the left arm on the leg. And then we're going to melt your right ribs forwards and let the arm be like a pendulum. So we're moving into the shoulder. Breathe in as the arm comes up, breathe out as it comes down, or get a bit more momentum. See what feels good, really working into the shoulder. And I'm going to swap to the other side, take the right leg out, toes are pointing forwards, come over to the other side, pausing for a moment, just check it out first, and then leaning those left ribs slightly forwards and a pendulum with the arm all the way around, a little bit of movement and the other way, working into the shoulder. All right, let's bring that leg back in. Going to tuck the toes under and come into a forward bend. So have as much bend in the knees as you need, head heavy and then uncurling. So arms are dangling, head's heavy to the last moment. And then standing up tall, roll the shoulders back. I'm going to curl down again, chin to chest, arms start to dangle, rounding the back, bit of bend in the knees if you need, moving into the pelvis. So shake the head yes and no. Maybe shake the shoulders a little bit, trying to find some length through the back muscles, and then uncurling. Head's going to come up last of all, standing tall, rolling the shoulders back. Let's come into another curl down, making it smooth, the arms start to dangle. Going to end up with the top of the head pointing down towards the floor, bit of bend in the knees, back of the neck long. And you can think of navel drawing in towards the spine, and then like a zip, we're going to uncurl as if you're keeping that navel drawing in, keeping that support for the back, taking your time to come up. Remember, the head is the last thing to lift. And then rolling the shoulders back to stand tall. Beautiful. Let's take the feet slightly wider to come into a side stretch, left arm reaching up. And already have an active stretch and then increasing it as you come over. And again, we're going to have the ribs melting forwards. So you're turning slightly down to look in front of the right foot. If you want to add to this, the right arm, palm turned up, is going to lift towards the left arm and then lower down. We're just adding some more weight and then swinging down. Have as much bend in the knees as you need and uncurl. We're going to do the same to the other side. Right arm ready to lift up. Have an active stretch there already. Come over to the left. Melt the right ribs forwards, looking down in front of your left foot. Turn the left palm up. And if you want to, you can add the arm movement. You can just otherwise let that left arm relax or hand on the hip. But if you want to work a little bit harder, arm coming up and down, and then to come out, swing forwards, bit of bend in the knees. And come back down to a kneeling position, sitting on your feet, or you can grab a cushion and have that between your feet and the bottom. Roll the shoulders a few times. Another little twist, looking behind you. And then to the other side, just letting the back relax after those standing movements that we did. And then bring the hands over your heart space or over the heart chakra, Anahata chakra, and connecting in. Let's do a practice of gratitude. Can you tune in and feel grateful for this amazing body that's allowed you to move? Perhaps you can feel grateful for this bit of time that you've given to yourself, some self-care. And I want you just to think of something else that might make the corners of your mouth turn up into a big smile. And you can let that smile echo all the way through your body and into the rest of the day. Thank you for joining me.